You are now listening to the Black Geeks.
We're the Black Geeks, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
A seminal moment has happened. It's past, and I apologize for not bringing this up sooner. But as brother been on the run, like Noriega right now. But all y'all who are into anime and manga, especially, and Face is probably like the only other like real anime manga head on the line right now. But after 15 years of manga, Naruto officially ended like a week ago. And it was a culmination of that whole 15-year journey that we've been on with this manga. I've personally been on the Naruto ride, and the 15 years represents a little bit less than like half my life I've been actually reading this manga. So shout out to Naruto. It wrapped up great, and wanted to know if there were any other Naruto fans out there and get y'all thoughts on how the manga wrapped up.
I believe we brought that up on the Sith News joint. Up on the page, actually, not on the show. On Geekonia's page. I've been doing my heavy manga reading. I saw that like a couple weeks ago when they was gearing up for it, like the writer and all that stuff. They did this like big, giant, low, week long thing for him or whatever. But yeah, and then they finally wrapped it up. So I think it's like most mangas. Most mangas last like years. I don't know if that's the longest one, but I know most of them have like 600, 700, 800 dang episodes or chapters within the manga verse chapters. So I think it's about time. The thing that bothers me about certain mangas, I hate when they drag on, and it can happen. Most of the time, it's with a lot of fillers that don't make any sense. And for those I don't know what we mean by fillers, just like storylines that have no bearing on the overreaching plots.
On the big story arc, they just dare to kind of fill in space until you decide you're going to go back to the main story arc. And Naruto was guilty of that only a little bit in the manga. They were guilty of that a lot in the anime. Like they'd have like whole seasons enough about filler. And even as far as like the manga is concerned, the manga, they probably could have wrapped this up 100 episodes back, but you can see how they would like draw out certain comics, like certain manga episodes. They would draw them out a little bit, so you only got like a little bit of content, and then like the next one you got a little bit of content, and then the next one you got like a lot of content, and then they went back to like kind of just parsing it out. But it was such a great story, and it was so much fun that you kind of almost didn't really care.
Yeah, like I said, most of them are on that same space. I mean, they pretty much do that. The good ones, anyway. Like when I think of the long running ones, I think of Naruto. I think of Bleach.
And that's the thing. Like the longest running joints, really, in like I guess like our time, are all coming to an end. Like right now, like in the next couple of months. Like Claymore, I don't know if y'all ever got into Claymore. Like that ended a few weeks back. Yo, Claymore was fire.
Even my wife watched that anime. Well, she watched the anime. She didn't read the manga, but she even got into the anime.
The anime deviated a lot from the manga.
I know it did, but it was still fun. A lot of manga to me deviates, but again, not all of them, not all deviate, but a lot deviate every now and again, and then you got the ones that stick to it. But like you said, man, those are fire. I mean, for all those that's in it, though, they got more stuff. I mean, there's always going to be more enough. I don't think they're running out of content anytime soon. I mean, I still got stuff that I'm just now getting into. Like I just started getting into One Piece. I just started getting into.
I could never get into One Piece, man. I think I might have to go back and look at it again.
You gotta go back. You gotta get just stay on it. I felt the same way about Inuyasha. I couldn't get on it at first, But once I got into it, it was off the chain to me until like about 400 chapters in out of 510. But the same thing, like I started getting into Fairy Tale. I think that's one of the newer ones. I got it. You know, I can sit there and name a bunch, but it's in a good space right now. There's so much anime right now. I mean, my list of anime that I've even been watching or manga that I've been reading is so thick right now it don't make any sense.
I definitely wanted to put it out there. We had really talked about it again. Face, I think you and I are the only ones who really go hard into the anime and into the manga space. But you know, we lost Claymore like a month ago. Naruto just wrapped up like literally like a week or so ago. Bleach is coming to an end like soon. They're in their final story arc. They fighting it out in the Soul King's palace or in that realm. That joint about to come to an end. So like we losing a lot of like real iconic, you know, manga who they kind of like really grew up with us in certain ways. So I'm throwing it out there to the fans. You know, what's the next big thing? Like what should we be like really rocking with right now? I know everybody loves Attack on Titan, but yeah, I believe the writer who did. I think the dude who did Attack on Titan already put it out there. That he's only doing a limited amount. Like he's not, you know, going the Naruto route where you out there for 50 years. He's got a set story in mind, and once he wraps that up, it's done. So I'm asking for suggestions.
Well, you know what? I think we. I got a list. It'll take our show, so I don't want to hog the show, but I got a list of stuff that we should be rocking with, and I think I'll put it out there. Might even put it out there after the show. Or in the after party. I got like a list of 6 right now that I've been rocking with, both manga and anime. Like some of them I started with the anime and then just went into the manga because you know the anime didn't catch up to the manga just yet. So I got like a list of like 6 different shows that are good, you know, fun. So there's content. I'll put you on to some game. I'll let my brilliance overwhelm you guys for a hot second.
Gee, thanks. We're so honored.
Yeah, I don't watch nearly as much anime as you guys did. I do have somebody that's very close to me, and he was lamenting. He's like, "Did you hear? It's over. Naruto." I've watched on and off over his shoulder for a long time. I actually liked it compared to a lot of one. I've watched some One Piece. I don't think a lot of folks, and according to my advisor, he also says that not many people are really catching on to One Piece that much. I've watched a numb. Okay, then what did you say? Just go ahead and say it. You're on the show. Go ahead and say it.
Okay, I said that One Piece is huge, but it can't compare. But it's not going to ever fully compare to Naruto's entire following. Like One Piece has a following just as big, but I don't think it can really compare to the story that and like the emotions that Naruto carried with it.
Okay, are you done? Are you done? Thank you. Okay, there you go.
I would actually agree with him. I know a lot of people who love One Piece, but I think Naruto. I think the problem with One Piece is it started out like kind of silly, and it takes you a while to get past the silliness. But with Naruto, even though it was silly, it's not silly. Like it, even though it had like some key stuff to it, tugged at your emotions from the very beginning because it drew you into the world of this orphan, you know, this orphan child. It was kind of like an outcast, and it like really, you know, captured that and brought you in. So like you grew as Naruto grew as a character, as a personality. And I think that's, you know, one of the things that draw people in.
Yeah, I've watched a couple of them, and I feel what you're saying, and I've seen kind of that same evolution. It was kind of, I don't know, I won't say awkward or silly. I mean, I guess silly is a good word for it. It didn't have the same kind of seriousness. Obviously, nowhere close to what you all like Attack on Titan. It was kind of like almost like a Dragon Ball at some point with the silliness. But not that I want to compare that Dragon Ball whatsoever. But
because the crazy thing about Naruto, man, it's like it drew you in so much emotionally. Mm-hmm. Like it's episodes where you sat there, and you kind of got it like a little bit choked up. because of like what was going down. Like when Jiraiya died, that was one of those moments like when you really felt the emotion that was in there, not just the writing, but also the way they did the anime. And when Asuma died, man, I'm a grown man, dog. I had to hold back tears a little bit, like when Asuma died. Like that joint was crazy. Like, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, yo, this a manga, or yo, this the anime. I really shouldn't be feeling like this, but it had drawn me in so much that emotionally I was connected to it. And that's when, in my opinion, the art really transforms itself and it becomes like a whole lot more. And there's very few that I think, do that. I think Naruto did a good job of balancing out like the seriousness, with the silly, with the high emotion and the drama with the action.
Right. I see what you're saying. And I think that's a challenge for a lot. I mean, I think a lot of the anime that I've watched, it's the emotional thing that draws you in, and really gets you connected to it. I mean, I think going back and watching Brotherhood, Full Metal Alchemist, I mean, you got so drawn into the Ehrlich brothers' story and the background and the father, and it was, and the fighting scenes were absolutely awesome, but it was just the emotion that they fought with, and always trying to protect the younger brother because he felt that it was his fault. It's incredible how the animes take that hardcore action, but you have that emotion that they carry throughout the show as well. And I think that's what gets you hooked. Naruto is one of those shows that just keeps you hooked emotionally.
Absolutely, Big Brother. You're absolutely right on that, man. Full Metal Alchemist and then Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. And I looked at Brotherhood really as a reboot, and I was kind of a little bit skeptical on it at first. And then when I got into it, it was like, this is not necessarily a reboot, but more like a retelling. And it was